Bro. KO. Down. Hunter Lou. You already know who it is, man. You see the title. UFC Vegas 97. Burns versus Brady. Let's get straight on into it.
Evenly matched are these two men.
Oh! It's Junior Barbosa! Oh!
Holy crap, man.
Oh!
Before we get anything started, as you guys already know, follow us on all the socials right here. And of course, if you want to join the MFL, the links will be right in the description to the Discord. And the Discord to the official Yo Bro KO server will be in the Discord as well. And make sure to look out for Dana Dee's own podcast, If These Walls Could Talk. Now let's get straight into this video. Before I start breaking these down, I just want to say real quick, Ryan Spann versus OSP got canceled, as well as Matt Schnell not fighting Joshua Van Happen. I predicted that, made my prediction. He actually ended up fighting Cody Durden at bantamweight. So that was a thing. But yeah, let's get it started. Up first, we had the two Team Valentina Shevchenko fighters, Zigomatas Ramaska versus Nathan Flesher. And this went exactly how I predicted. I knew Zigomatas was an absolute savage. He came out kind of swinging and banging, and landed some big shots. Showed that he has a lot of power in that right hand, but Fletcher withstood the damage, and in the second round tapped him out, and he actually tapped him out with the arm triangle sub and did it relatively quickly. Walked right forward, took him down to the ground, and locked it in, with ease. So that's one. Right after that, the vibes kept flowing. We had Andre Petrosky, former tough competitor, versus Dylan Budka. Budka, I guess, if you guys didn't see him in the weigh-ins, he kind of looked like he was deflated, out of it, kind of shaking on the scale. And he didn't really look too dehydrated, if you will. Yeah, really. But this one went exactly how I predicted as well. I thought Petrosky was too good. He won by unanimous decision, won all 3 rounds, just out-wrestled him, outworked him. Budka, I mean, that's 2 losses in the UFC now. He's winless. I don't know what's next for him, but yeah, moving forward. Right after that, we had the Brazilian Jacqueline Amorim with the 100% finish rate versus Vanessa Demopoulos at strawweight. And honestly, this ended quicker than I thought it was. I had never seen Jacqueline fight before, but I knew that she was definitely going to get her in and get her out. It was kind of controversial because there clearly was a glove grab by Amorim in the first round. Well, it ended in the first round, but when she got to the floor before she locked in the armbar, and Demopoulos made the mistake of complaining to the ref. And while I'm not saying that there wasn't a glove grab, you know, Dom Cruz, the commentators were saying it themselves, like, you shouldn't be worried. I mean, you still are in a fight. If the ref's not going to do his job, then you need to understand you're still in a fight. And that's the mistake that she made and ultimately caused her to tap. Like I said, controversial, but not surprised by the outcome here. I think even if it would have went longer, the same result would have happened. But a nice win for Amorim. She looks good. In the fourth fight, we saw Yiza versus Gabriel Santos at featherweight. And honestly, I actually predicted Yiza to win by unanimous decision. I thought that he had a lot of grit and heart on the road to UFC. And dude's tough. He's definitely tough. He's definitely got a heart. But Gabriel Santos, man, I mean, 2 of the judges gave him 10-8 rounds. And his striking is just nasty. He was throwing these jumping teeps that ultimately set up him throwing, these front kicks to the face like Anderson Silva. It was nasty. If you like, and he was doing it often. Like, he was jumping switch teeps to the body, and he got a Frankie Edgar versus Cheeto slash Anderson Silva versus, I forgot who he did it to. You guys know. I'm sorry for potatoing right now. But yeah, good win for Gabriel Santos. I'm excited to see what's next for him. His striking is absolutely nasty. And as for Yiza, I mean, he showed heart, he showed grit, but just got dominated, man. Immediately after, we had flyweight action between two Brazilians, Felipe Dos Santos and Andre Lima. Andre Lima was 9-0 coming to this fight, and Felipe Dos Santos had just suffered his first loss against Manel Kape. I had never seen Lima fight, like full fight. I only saw the one that he got bit. And of course, Felipe Dos Santos, the fight that I was familiar with was the Manel Cop fight that he almost upset him. But I actually picked Dos Santos to sub him in the second round, and I thought maybe he'd put a performance of the night on because I knew he was tough. I knew he had heart. He comes for the shoot the box. But so does Lima, and I'm sleeping on. I was sleeping on Lima, man. I mean, the way he is in and out of the pocket because he was a smaller guy. He definitely you could tell the height difference between the two, but the way he was mixing up wrestling, and striking and entering and disengaging from the pocket, it was very very clean. And now he's 10-0. He beat a super tough Felipe Dos Santos. And by the way, in the third round, he had him in a rear naked choke two different times, like tight and very deep, and somehow Felipe survived. So his heart is never going to be questioned by me. However, Andre Lima is definitely the real deal, and one of the judges actually gave him all three. The other two gave him two of the three. Great fight in my opinion, but fairly dominant. Next up, Isaac Dogarian versus Brendan Maroti. I'll be honest, I won't even waste any time. I knew Dogarian was gonna absolutely dominate this fight. Once the ref clocked it in, he immediately jolted forward, took him straight down to the ground, dominated him the whole first round on the top position. And as soon as the second round started, Marodi almost went for a Masvidal like flying knee and got slammed down to the ground and ultimately got arm triangled late in the round. Not surprised at all. I think Isaac Dogarian is really, really good. He's good, like I said, good everywhere. And yeah, definitely watch out for this guy because he's coming. And I think he still should be undefeated. Nevertheless, great win for him. For this next one, man, oh man. I mean, I'm just gonna warn you guys now. The image that I'm gonna show is gonna be graphic whenever it does pop up. But in the seventh fight, we had Rong Zhu versus Chris Padilla, and Rong Zhu was actually on the road to UFC as well, and he had a pretty extensive record. He had 29 fights in his career. This was his 30th, and Chris Padilla, he had been, I think it was 2-0 or 3-0 when he was the underdog, a plus 200 or more underdog. And coming into this fight, I mean, his countering was very, very good. I think Zhu was doing a good job pressing forward and kind of outstriking him. I actually gave him the first round, but coming to the second round, the slips of Chris Padilla ultimately led to a nasty slip elbow. Yes, elbow. He slipped it straight, threw an elbow over the top. Might have been one of the cleanest, like, and it landed like literally directly on his eyelid, and I mean, he looked like he had a tumor in his eyelid, man. It was bad. The doctor had to come in and stop it. Rightfully so. I mean, there was no reason to continue that fight. And even Rong Zhu thought that it was an eye poke. That's how nasty it was. But Chris Padilla, man, I mean, he's a savage. And right after the fight, calls out Mahashate. I mean, nice call out. I respect it. And I'm looking forward to seeing what else this guy got. I mean, he's a dog. But yeah, probably one of the nastiest elbows slash hematomas, like. But on the other hand, probably one of the best doctor stoppages I've ever seen. Moving on. So those are all the prelims. Now moving to the main card. Starting things off, we had Trevor Peek taking on Yanao Shmooze in the lightweight division. And I'll be honest, I had to rewatch this fight before making this video because I actually kind of missed it. But I mean, I'll be honest. Ashmuz, he gets the unanimous decision win. That's what I predicted. Thought he was gonna be, too all around skilled for Trevor Peek, and that's exactly kind of what happened. It seemed like Ashmuz was just a more complete fighter, and he's actually pretty good. He does a good job at mixing in the striking and the grappling, and he was just relentless, man. Like I get that some people don't like the grappling, wrestling heavy style, but when you're able to mix things up effectively enough to be able to engage these clinches, that ultimately lead to takedowns, or just be able to clinch, take the back, and get dominant position, that takes skill, man. And Trevor Peek, obviously a firefighter, and he's gonna, step in the box with you and throw them hands, swing and bang, if you will. But yeah, it just seemed like Ashmus was too much. And even in the third round, after grappling as much as he was, granted, like towards the end of the fight, he kind of got a little bit sloppy. Started going back and forth, barn burning with him for a couple seconds. However, he didn't look tired. He didn't look tired with the amount of grappling he was doing. I was surprised, and he was striking, pretty often. Kind of reminded me of a Dagestani type style with the grappling. But I think he's going to be a serious problem, man. I think he's pretty complete, and yeah, that cardio is definitely impressive. As for Trevor Peak, I think he has to overall improve more. However, he didn't lose no star power in my eyes. I know if he stands across from somebody that's willing to stand in the pocket with him and bang, it's definitely going to be a fun fight. However, the Israeli gets it done. Congratulations, that's Moose. Let's move on. Fight numero nueve. We had Matt Schnell moving up to the bantamweight division. All the respect. He had to go through two other fighters, and he had to get this fight on 4 days' notice with Cody Durden in the bantamweight division. Cody Durden, absolute savage. He had mentioned after the fight that he was, I guess, pretty wasted on Sunday. He had went out and got drinks with his wife. However, he still took the fight on 4 days' notice. Absolute savage. But yeah, I mean, honestly, it was pretty even in the first round. They were just going back and forth, and I really thought Matt Schnell won it. I thought that he looked, I mean, it could have been either way, but the way I seen it, I gave it to Schnell. I wouldn't have been surprised if it went the other way. However, once the second round started, Schnell went in for a takedown, I believe, got caught, and Durden put this nasty, like, he didn't even have his arm, but he had kind of like a Darce choke on him, and it took less than 5 seconds. I give it 7 seconds max for uh, Matt Schnell to tap out, and it was nasty. It was nasty. I mean, he had to tap out both hands, and unfortunately, Matt Schnell took off the gloves. It appeared that he retired. More will have to come from that. Not too sure. Cody Durden, like a fan favorite, steps up on 4 days' notice and puts on a show. Really, like I would have never guessed that he wasn't in camp. He wasn't ready to fight. He was definitely ready to fight, and yeah, congratulations. I'm looking forward to seeing what's next for him because that was the first time I seen him fight. For this one, I was expecting everything from this, honestly. Well, I won't say that much because we had Steve Garcia versus Kyle Nelson in the featherweight division. Steve Garcia was on a 4 fight knockout streak, so I knew he was gonna come and bring it. Contender series vet or contender series guy. Kyle Nelson from Canada. He coming off a win versus Algio, probably one of the biggest one of his career. Nasty knockout. However, he came out shooting a lot of takedowns and he missed weight. So I thought that was kind of questionable. Even in the introductions, I kind of had a feeling because he missed weight, he might knock him out just because he obviously has a little bit more weight on him. But nevertheless, shooting a lot of takedowns and took his back early. But Steve Garcia stood in it, stood persistent, reversed position, and landed one of the cleanest elbows from the top position. And ultimately, it shook Nelson, and he just started grounding and pounding and did exactly what I thought he was gonna do, knock him out, and did it in the first round as well. Steve Garcia is the real deal, man, and featherweights are gonna have to look out because he's coming. He's coming. We have entered co-main event territory, and I'll be honest, if you guys seen the prediction video, I was gonna go for Natalia Silva to get the unanimous decision. It was Jessica Andrade versus Natalia Silva. I was gonna go for her to get the unanimous decision, but uh, I trusted that she was gonna get the win, so I just said screw it. I'll give her the TKO win. But what I learned from this fight, she wins all 3 rounds on all 3 judges' scorecards. She is fast, man. Now, granted, she was getting pushed back the whole time, but to be able to do that, and obviously Andrade is a shorter fighter, so it's a little bit easier to get like one step ahead of her, having that height and reach over her. However, she was eating some big shots, and she was really on the back foot the whole time. I mean, she was finding ways to throw these nasty taekwondo kicks, these spinning wheel kicks to the body. I mean, and then just boom, boom. Like it was nasty, man. The way she was mixing it all up, she was piecing her up, and like I said, she has a solid chin, man. She was eating some big shots, and even at times, electing to exchange with Andrade just to be able to get off the cage, get her back off the cage, get back on the center. And then, man, yeah, she's fast. Her kicks are nasty. That's 6-0 in the UFC now. And she called for a title shot. She wants the title. I don't think she'll get it next, but it is in the near future for her, no doubt. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what Natalia Silva forth. Brings. Yeah, let's move on. Last but not least, the main event of the evening, Gilbert Durinho Burns versus Sean Brady. Man, I was pumped. And I'm still pumped about it. I don't care what anybody says. That's a Sean Brady that I know. That's a Sean Brady that I've always expected. And like I said, coming out party. That was exactly that. Obviously, I'm gonna point out the obvious and say Gilbert Burns is 38. He's well past his prime. However, the X factor with the power was there the whole fight. But I mean, Brady just shut him out. 2 out of the 3 judges gave him all 5. I gave him all 5, but I knew because he was up so big, they might give. The third round was kind of close, but even at that, I still gave it to Brady. And Brady, what I like about what he does is that I was worried he was gonna tire out as the later rounds came, and even at the end of the fight, he kind of like collapsed on his back and put his hands up. But he didn't look sluggish. He would stay on the outside. He was throwing really nice leg kicks, really, really nice leg kicks that were honestly starting to affect Gilbert as the fight progressed. And his get-ups were very, very good. He wasn't really in too much vulnerable positions. But yeah, man, the way he was staying on the outside and then coming in, being first, throwing these, 3-4 combos, and he wasn't putting too much power on it, but he was doing just enough to where Gilbert couldn't. He had to, he kind of was just taking it. He was just defending himself. And he was throwing this nice combo. He was coming to the left hook and then going down with the leg kick. I like that. But yeah, like I said, coming out party for Sean Brady. And he called out Ian Gary. Or he nice call out. I know he mentioned Ian Gary's name. And I think he wants either him or Colby Covington. But either way, man, Sean Brady is the real deal. And Gilbert Burns, I think that's going to be it for him. I do think that he retired. He took out his gloves after the end of the fight. It's been real, Gilbert. I'll always be a fan in my heart. But tonight was Sean Brady's night. And in his first main event, his first 5-rounder, he aced the test and then some. So I'm super proud of him. And yeah, man, I went 7 for 11 with predictions. So I'm pretty happy about that. You know, I guess it could have been better, but either way, very fun card overall. It wasn't too bad. I enjoyed it. Next week, UFC Noche. I cannot wait. Super, super excited. As you guys know, or if you don't yet, Dana Dee and I will be dropping a prediction video together. Yes, together for the first time. And I couldn't be any more excited. Like I said, it's definitely overhyped, but it still is a great card. I'm not going to complain at the card, but it is definitely overhyped. Either way, cannot wait. And that should be coming out. That video should be coming out sometime in the middle of the week. And yeah, if you guys have enjoyed the video up to this point, I would love if you left a like. If you guys subbed, comment down below any recommendations, what you want to see on the channel, any takes that you have on my predictions / the outcomes of any of these fights. What do you guys think is next for Silva? What do you guys think is next for Brady? And hell, even Steve Garcia. A lot of movement and divisions following last night. So I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Having that said, if you haven't already, make sure you guys follow all our socials. And of course, always show that MFL love to the MFL. If you want to join the Discord, if you want to join the league, that'll be down in the description. And as always, I will see you at the top.
evenly matched are these two men?